Language surrounds us. We use it almost every day, and everyone around us does too. Whether it be our own tongue, a foreign one, or even sign language. But the existence of these foreign languages are just that, foreign. We are unable to understand these words, creating a rift between us and the ones who speak them. Which brings me to my topic. The use of multiple languages, and even changes within our own language, inhibits societal growth due to the rifts it causes between the speakers. This can happen in situations of foreign affairs or even within a household, as languages oftentimes do not translate well into other languages. Confusion and even chaos can be caused. A good example of these translations that don't exactly work when used literally are these translated German proverbs that may work for German situations, but not so much when they're translated into English.
I only understand train station!
What does that even mean?
Was für ein schöner Tag.
Don't praise the day before the evening.
Hello, my name is Tom and this is Jessica.
The donkey names himself last. Oh, I almost got it!
Close past it is also past it.
I didn't think this would be so hard.
Well, life is not illegal sugar.
Are you sure you don't want to come?
Yeah, it's fine. I don't want to be the fifth wheel on the wagon.
Alle Karten sind schon ausverkauft.
The early bird catches the worm.
Are you sure he of all people won the lottery? Yes. Also a blind chicken sometimes finds a grain.
I'm 100% sure that I'm right.
The wiser person he is.
Damn it, I can't believe it. I lost 20 euros.
Well, someone's pain is someone else's happiness.
What?
This is the end?
Yeah, everything has an end, but the sausages too.
As you can see, literal translations do not often make grammatical sense. But when changed in order to make sense, words can lose or take on altered meanings. This may not seem like a big deal to us, but for instance, for those who work as translators for the UN, even the slightest changed word can mean an international incident. They must be precise and accurate. But this would not be a problem if the delegate spoke, for instance, a common language. But that would lead to another problem. Languages are changing constantly, and several people around the world having the same language changing around them differently in each place would simply not allow them to keep up. There is also the concern of dialects and accents within a language. Yosuke Igarashi of the National Institute for Japanese Language, in his essay Typology of the Intonational Phrasing in Japanese Dialects, states that there are 11 dialects of Japanese and about 3 accents for each dialect. That's 33 different versions of the Japanese language. If delegates somehow each learn a different one, they would never be able to understand one another. Examples of international delegates may seem a little on the extreme side, so you are probably asking yourself, what does this have to do with me, the common person? Well, rifts caused by language are happening constantly in the everyday household. For instance, Tom's grandma from Italy comes to visit. She does not speak a word of English, and he not a word of Italian, leaving them unable to communicate, unless Tom's parents are around to translate for him. And who is Tom, you are wondering? He is no one in particular, just an average everyday person who was affected by the social rifts of language. Although more common, language rifts are not limited to being between 2 different languages. A rift can happen within the same language as well. This is how dialects are formed. 2 groups of people who recently have spoke the same language may find themselves suddenly separated, but each with new things to give names to. The 2 groups may be reunited to find that they have given the same thing a different name. This creates a dialect, as the 2 are still able to communicate with one another with only slight variations. A good example of this is the British and American versions of English. They are the same language, yes, but they contain slight differences. There are also cases within a language, not so extreme as to call it a dialect, but new slang. Just as a person from 1913 would look at you weird for saying things such as, "That was so goofy," or "Where can I find myself some grub?" Parents may suddenly find it hard to communicate with their child due to the new slang they use to communicate with their friends. Words that allow you to connect with one group can very well separate you from another. The poet Susan Stewart tells of a time she heard of a woman who experienced this in the lines, "This time the teacher was Gonkowski, the pupil his wife. She dreamed of learning Polish, and for years on end, Gonkowski had been willing to teach her a Polish that will and never did exist. While this allowed her to talk with her husband, the outside world, not as much. Although slang is not extreme as that, it still causes a rift. Language is such a common thing, we take it for granted. But we also don't realize that the languages in our society may also harm us. The rifts caused by many languages and the rapidly changing nature existing within a language is causing us as a species to go apart, and thus stunting our societal growth.